Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I can tell it's December just by the basement temperature. It is a balmy 49.5 degrees Fahrenheit down here right now. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but I have my little foot space heater on, and I'm hoping it's going to keep me warm enough. Let's see here who we have in the chat. I see that YouTube is still giving me people's handles and not names, so you'll have to bear with me. We have Gutbomb. Hi, Gutbomb. We have I8386SX. Hi, Jesse. We have SJ Brian EXE. Good evening. We have Sadmac356. Hi, Sadmac. SJ says, I have me Christmas tree up, and I have a couple 30-pin RAM sticks on it. Nice. We have Jack68K. Hi, Jack. Gutbomb was here at the start. Yes. Jack's here at the start. Yes. The handle thing is dumb. Yes! It is! Alright, let's see here. Yeah, I was at Lowe's the other day. I was looking at Christmas trees. I saw a nice one that I was just about to buy until I realized that, of course, the one I'm looking at, which looks nice, it happened to also be the cheapest Christmas tree, but it actually looked nice. Cheapest pre-lit Christmas tree. It happened to look nice. It wasn't, like, too terribly tall, and it was absolutely sold out. Of course. Anyway, so I haven't put my tree up yet. I might go to another Lowe's or Home Depot and see if they've got one, because I like the perk of pre-lit trees. In fact, if I had a pre-lit one, then I would set it up right there, because then I could drag it upstairs, because I got a video I want to record, and it'd be nice if I had a tree, but I obviously don't want to set a tree up down here and then have to tear it down to take it upstairs to film that video, and then tear it down and bring it back down here. But anyways, that's a story for another time. All right. Yeah, Sadmax says, I don't know what YouTube's doing any given day. Yeah, they don't let us content creators know either. All right, Coffee Go link is in the description, and I have been debating whether or not to roll the animation, because on the one hand, I bought this item from one of you all, so I know I'm getting what I bought, but there might be a regret angle to one of the items that I bought, so we're going to roll with it. I think we are going to have to give you this important announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
Alright, so we have one item because I decided I'm going to hold off on the other item because it arrived in a box that will cause controversy. Yeah, because the box it got shipped in is for a vintage computer that the item is not. So I didn't bring it downstairs while I try to debate how to handle that topic, because I'm sure it'll make someone angry that someone reused a vintage computer box to ship me something that doesn't match the box. Gutbomb says, we need to see controversial box. Maybe I'll bring it down tonight. It's still upstairs. Yeah, maybe we'll open it tonight. Jack says Menards has a pink tinsel tree. I don't have a Menards close, so I won't be going to check that out. SJ says HD has a nice T11 6.5-foot flock pre-lit that my daughter likes. I almost bought it. Might have to check that out. Sadmax says, I mean, props to them for reusing the box, even though the original machine probably didn't survive. Yeah, I have no idea where the original machine is because unless they shipped me the wrong item, then maybe I might be very, very happy with my purchase, but maybe we should open it tonight. Capcom says we picked up a nice natural tree from Ace Hardware. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in Team Artificial Tree for some reason. I don't even know why I'm looking at this. So this item comes to us from I80486SX on YouTube. That would be Jesse I80386SX on YouTube in the chat. And mind you, we're in Wheel of Regrets not because I'm afraid of what's in the box, but the possible regret angle as to why I bought one of these items, and I will use it. Jesse says I should change that eBay handle. To I80386SX or to Corgi Computer Sales. And I have more if you want them. All right, so the first item we have is in a compact box. So I got this box. I was thinking to myself, why is this such a big box? I don't remember ordering a huge thing. And then I remembered that this is an absolute unit of a thing that I got here from Compaq. So this is like the what do they call this? I'm sure there's a label on the side of it. This is a I think this is the Armada hard drive kit. So if you bought a hard drive kit from Compaq, Jack says contents various barcodes. Yes. So anyways, this is all right. So there's no hard drive in here. It's an empty hard drive caddy, but this is the empty hard drive caddy that will fit LTE 5000s and certain Armada laptops. Yeah, Jesse says it's the Armada 7700 second hard drive kit. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to remember what it actually was. But, yeah, it came with a foam-lined carrying box. So I guess if you needed to put your CD-ROM module or your floppy module in, you could safely store your hard drive. There's no drive in here, but there's the screws so I can put it back together. I know, quite the fancy box. I believe this is the weight saver module, so if you need to, not put anything in it, or is this the, oh, no, this is the adapter for the second hard drive. Okay, there we go. So the second hard drive plugs in there, and this goes in your, bay. So I guess, yeah, okay. So this would take the place of your CD-ROM or floppy. I forget, this is for Armada, not LTE 5000, so brain is not braining right now. And then I think this is the carrying case for the plastic caddy. So, I know, this is a very fancy hard drive box. I saw that Jesse had some, and since they fit the LTE 5000 series, and I think I've got enough LTE 5000s, but not hard drives for all of them, I decided I would pick one up, so at least I would have one less LTE 5000 without the possibility of putting a hard drive in it. So thank you for that, Jesse. And then this is the item which has a slight regret component to it, although I should still be able to use it, just not as immediately as I would hope. But we have... Oh! Okay, now I maybe regret that I didn't ask Jesse to send me some Hughes homemade chocolates. No, I don't regret buying it from Jesse. I regret for... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. We may not... I may have... Oh, wait a minute. I might be able to use it sooner than I thought. The part I was regretting was I started to think that there wasn't a dock cable included. I was like, did I just buy this and not have a dock cable? So I picked up, because Jesse had one, this is an iPod Touch 2nd Gen 8 gigabyte, I believe. No, it's not an iPhone, it's an iPod. Hi, hardware hacker, welcome. So I've been wanting a device that I could use for like loading WAV files on of tape-based programs and then playing them back to the computer. And when I saw Jesse had this iPod Touch, I was like, you know, this would make a nice player because it has a headphone jack and it's kind of on brand being an iPod. But I bought it, and then several days later, I'm like, did I forget to get a dock cable? Does this thing need a dock cable? Oh, surely it's new enough to be lightning. And then I look it up, and I'm like, nope. Silly me. 2nd Gen iPod Touch, of course, no lightning yet. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to get this, and I'm not going to be able to do anything with it right away because I won't have a dock cable. But part of me was like, no, maybe I should just wait. So anyways, no regrets. We got an iPod Touch. You know, let's go ahead and we'll plug this in here. Yeah, they stayed 30 pin for a while. I forgot when they switched. So I have this power bank, which any day now I'm expecting Amazon to send me an email that it's been recalled, because seemingly I keep seeing recalls for power banks. So anyways, I guess at least until my power bank is recalled and I have to, like, not use it, we'll plug my iPod Touch into the power bank, because I don't know what battery charge might be on it. And we'll let it power up here. Jesse says, my favorite former boss, Kristen, hooked me up big time. Awesome. Yeah, I will actually, yeah, it's going to be my, exactly, Thomas, it's going to be my iPod cassette player, yeah. Oh, there we go, look at that. Yeah, it's an iPod Touch. So, let's see here. Oh, okay, these gloves here, which I decided to wear because it was a bit cool in the basement. And if I'm disassembling that, when we disassemble that Lunchbox PC, I was like, you know, just in case there's like some slightly sharper edges, I'll wear my slightly cut resistant. Well, I don't know that they're cut resistant. They'll add a little poke resistance, but anyways, yeah, they don't work on touch screens. But there we go. Oh, wow. This is like... Oh, wow. Looky there. There's the old YouTube app. Of course, we're not signed in. And yeah, let's not give that away. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, let's not open an app that might need Wi-Fi again because, yeah, reasons. But yeah, I can play videos on the iPod Touch. See, we got a music app. I don't think that requires Wi-Fi. There's no music on it, but yeah, little iPod Touch. So yeah, I thought this would be cool. I guess we could go to settings. Let's see what OS we're running on it. General. Want to make sure I didn't about. At least there are some constants. All right. We are running iOS 4.2.1, and I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to. I might need to be able to like register this with Apple Care or something like that. Jesse says I factory reset it. Awesome. Hardware Hacker says, aha, now I can find you because I know your Wi-Fi network. Just kidding. Jesse says it probably had mostly Taylor Swift music on it before knowing her. Oh, what was that joke I saw? It was a Taylor Swift related joke. Anyways, moving on. All right, so this is really cool. Got an iPod Touch 2nd gen. Got a screen protector on it. Got the dock cable. It's got a headphone jack. So it at least gives me a kind of cool way to be able to play sound files for any computer system that's tape-based, if I want to go that route. So, yeah, I don't have anything set up to try it out, so can't try that out. But hey, it's cool. And it's in pretty good shape. I mean, for all I paid for it, I don't remember what. I think Jesse had it listed for like $20. Yeah, this definitely worth $20 to me. So yeah, yeah, I know. Look at all these skeuomorphic icons. Yes, exactly. So yeah, iPod Touch. Well, so this will be cool. And I think we had some votes for the controversial box. So I guess let me go upstairs and go get the controversial box. Cutbomb says, as a guy with a 10-year-old daughter, she's a very common point of conversation. And maybe I'll remember what that Taylor Swift joke was. Still escaping me. All right, let me go grab the controversial box. We'll open it up. Headphone users, I'm about to put you on hold. The music, I've been told, might be slightly on the loud side. So, hold please. next item comes to us from an eBay seller in Ohio. So, Ohio, to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Ohio. And why is this a controversial box? Well, I will tip it up and you will see that I have a Tandy 1000 box here. The seller shipped me this item directly in a Tandy 1000 box. That is why it's controversial. Also, the box is in awful condition, so yeah. Now, there's one of two possibilities here. Possibility number one is I have received the item I bought. Possibility number two is I have received a Tandy 1000. Well, I guess there could be a third possibility. I've received both. But I'm pretty sure the box would be much heavier if I received both. Yes, fragile must be Italian, yes. Oh, looky here, and there's possibility 4. I've received packing peanuts along with one of the other 3 possibilities. I am kind of with LGR on my like of packing peanuts. All right. So, does any Tandy Chromebook says 1-bit fever dream? Hi, Michael. Thomas Armstrong's guessing at a Coco 1. No, I wish, but no. Okay, I'm definitely getting some dusty vibes from this. I will have to do something with this box after I deal with it. And that might involve taking it into the corner where I'll take it upstairs later. All right, drum roll, please. All right, let's see how much of this I can get out without spilling packing peanuts all over my chair. All right, there you go. We got a contextual clue. Anyone that has a good memory about computers you've seen on the channel might pay special attention. Oh, there we go. And I will give you this. I suspect some of you all are going to overguess on this one. All right. I'm going to set it upside down so I can try to get a few more of these packing peanuts back into the shipping box. Because there's just something grossly dusty or I could feel it in my throat the moment I opened this box. All right, we are just going to close this and probably never speak of this box again. I mean, like, seriously, I may have to never speak of that box again. There's something about it. Jack says, burn the box. Although you could put it on eBay for $100. It's not in that great of a It's not in that great of a condition. Hi, Francois. Welcome. Yeah, SJ says, the eco-packing peanuts are better. My daughter and I dissolve them in the sink. Thomas says, Tandy 1,000 boxes worth $25. My health is worth more than $25 if trying to flip a Tandy box quick. I may have to go with the burn the box suggestion. Leave the peanuts in it. Jack says, $100. I know what I got. Sold for $100. Jack, you can, Gupbum says, and the thing I'm upset about is not the printing on the outside of the box, but the packing material in the box. Yeah. At least it's not glitter. Yeah. Gupbum says, I'm upset about the box. Yeah, I know. You all probably wanted it to be a Tandy 1000, but instead, the Tandy 1000 we have at home. No one's guessed what this is. I turned it upside down on purpose. But we have... Is this an HP? No, it is not an HP. This is like too easy. Someone's got to guess this one. Gupbum says, the Tandy 1000 box might be good for video gags, where you pull machines out of the box and it's never a Tandy 1000. It's a walking clock. No, it's not a walking clock. Okay, maybe I might keep the box in the garage, but the packing peanuts are going to go. Because, is it a tape drive? No. It actually is something. Why do I feel like it's a tell? Oh, wait. My mouse is in the way. Oh, Sadback actually says, why do I feel like it's a Dell? It's not a Dell. One bit says, it's the exact 386 SX25 I had when I was young. Jack says it's missing a lot of screws. Yes, it is missing a lot of screws. And no, this is not the 386 SX25 you had when you were young. This was never a 386 SX25. Thomas Armstrong says, maybe a gateway. Nope, it's not a gateway. All right, I guess you all are going to be like face palming. Kapop says, if that's a VIC-20. All right, now we're kind of guessing in maybe more the correct direction. External CD-ROM. No. All right, should I like tip it forward just a little bit more? Oh, that might have been a bit too far forward. All right. 15-inch disk drive. No. I mean, I think the 15-inch part might be right, but the disk drive... Kapop says, is that a Commodore PC? No, it's not a Commodore PC. Does it have a screen? It does not have a screen. One bit says 40-inch disk drive. SJ says Epson. Nope. That is the closest guess yet. It is not an Epson, though. Film scanner. Nope. It's not a film scanner. Very rare Atari PC. Nope. And there we go. I kind of figured Jesse would probably guess. Yes, this is a case for an Emerson 8000 EC computer. I was not going to make you all guess the actual model name. So why in the world did I buy a case for one of these? Well, I have one of these computers and the case is warped. Like, annoyingly warped. So someone listed one of these cases on eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret. And now I'm seeing why they taped the front on, because I don't think there's any screws holding the front of the case on. Lovely. Anyways, they listed this case. And I was kind of expecting it to sell. And then it finally got to the point where I think the listing was going to relist. And I thought about how warped the case is for the one I have, and how it makes it so hard to open and close the case. Jack says, could you buy Emerson PCs in the US? I associate that brand with stores that don't really sell electronics. Yeah, I believe Emerson computers were only sold in the US. Potentially. Maybe Canada. I'm not exactly sure where they sold them, but actually, I think they sold them at, like, Kmart. I think this would have been the brand you would have found at Kmart. Possibly Walmart, but I'm not sure about that. And other, I think, department stores like that had an electronics department. However, I've only found a few press releases. And the one press release that mentioned a retailer that I'm not sure actually sold them. Yeah, Sears, I think I think Sears might have sold them in the early 90s. Yeah, next to the digital clocks. Yeah. So anyways, I was hoping that maybe with this case, which I'm hoping is less warped, that maybe I might actually be able to put my 8000 EC in. Oh, there actually are some screws holding this case together. Shocker. Have room for a Pico Gus. You know, yes, there are 4 expansion slots, and it is very hard to tell what to... I can't decide what to use them for. Yes, this would have been made by the same people that make Emerson clock radios, yes. But the reason why I don't have a Pico Gus in my Emerson at the moment is because you get 4 slots. And I really don't know that a Gravis ultrasound would have been appropriate in an 8088 computer. Why am I having so much trouble removing the front panel? Oh. Because I forgot, you have to kind of ply the case out. Alright, so... oh, that's neat. Oh, well, that's neat. Apparently there's a label on this case that I'm not sure is on mine, and it may have only survived because it got stuck here. Oh, wow, that almost fell off. Oh, yeah, there's the label that was on the ROM chip on the motherboard that was in this case. That, it fell off of mine before I got it, so I'll have to re-adhere that to my motherboard. Anyways, I don't deny the fact that the Pico Gus is a nice product, but when I decided what to put in my 8000 EC, oh, that's right. Okay, there is a reason why actually, it's a more practical reason why I didn't put the Pico Gus in here. Probably. the Pico Gus's bracket will not fit the case. Yes, this case is in nice shape. In fact, I think it might even be a better power supply than the one I already have. So, because this is an Aztec power supply. I think the one I have, the current one I have, is like a no-name brand case. But yeah, the case is in really good shape. So I don't think I'm going to have trouble with it. I don't think it's warped. The case that I have, it's like it almost feels like it's been like torsionally warped. Like it got thrown around in an e-waste place, but didn't hit anything hard enough to dent it, but had some sort of damage where it got warped, because it's like torture putting the lid on the case I have. Which is why when I saw this one and I finally fell for it, because it looked like it was in good shape. I think what I see, it does look like it's in good shape. I don't see any rust on it, and at least without anything in the case, it doesn't feel rusted. But the reason why I don't have a Pico Gus in my 8000 EC, now I remember why. In fact, it makes it hard to put a XT in it. Unfortunately, the opening on the bottom of the case where the card sits in, which, yeah, I know I could file the bottom of the 3D print off, but then it, I don't know, if you've ever had a card, I don't think cards stand as well if they can't engage with whatever mechanism the case has for retaining the card. But anyways, the opening on this case is only big enough for a metal bracket, which even makes putting an XT IDE in the thing difficult. In fact, actually, if RetroTech Chris is watching, because I got to see if the 3D print he had done at the library fits. But the reason why I broke the plastic bracket for my XT IDE is I believe I was trying to put it back into one of these cases, and I didn't realize that you can't put the bracket in unless you have to like nail the alignment here like very exactly. And part of the problem is I think my case is warped, so it makes it hard to line it up. But yeah, you got to have a bracket that's thin enough to go through that hole, or you got to file the bracket down. Yeah, Jack says, if the cards aren't going to be secure, you'll just have to avoid taking it on the tilt-a-whirl with you. Now, there is a chance I may put a Pico Gus in it. Once the compatibility of the non-Gravis ultrasound sound cards gets to be, like, where I can't tell the difference. But for a 10 megahertz XT computer, there's not anything that you're going to be able to use the Gravis ultrasound on. So that's why I don't have a Pico Gus in mind. But anyways, so I've got a replacement case. I don't know that this computer's exactly the like industry shattering XT turbo clone that me buying a replacement case for it might imply, but it's a neat computer. It's got 10 megahertz, 8088, 640K of RAM. Actually, I think technically 768K, but I don't think you can use the other. I don't think there's any way to use the 128K RAM. I don't think the chipset allows you to address it. It might be for a RAM disk if you boot from ROM. That's my best theory on to why you can't use the other 128K, is because it might be for a RAM disk when you boot from ROM. It has graphics that are Plantronics Color Plus compatible. And yeah, at least has 4 expansion slots, because the thing is, it's got built-in parallel and serial. And so there's a serial port, a parallel port, and then a CGA port. And I believe in mine I have a I've got an 8-bit sound card that has a game port on it. I have an XT I have a I was kind of trying to hold a slot so I could maybe put an EMS card in it and check out Windows. Or some games that will play on a Turbo XT, but you need EMS memory. And then the 4th slot's kind of one of those, I was kind of trying to hold it for maybe a VGA card. But then again, there might be enough games that'll justify just keeping it CGA. Because I do have a CGA monitor that I might set this up with. Because at least the nice thing is, with Plantronics Color Plus, you get all 16 colors on the CGA monitor. So this would be a nice computer if I left the onboard graphics to let it have the CGA monitor. I mean, it's not an Emerson monitor, but it's also not an IBM monitor. It's a what's the name of that computer chain that is kind of obscure? It's not the one that was in malls. It was like one that usually had kind of a standalone store. It'll come to me. I'll think of it. I don't remember the name of the chain right offhand. I don't have the monitor down here in the basement to like look over and say, "Oh yeah, it's that brand." Oh, I can almost see it. It's I can see the brand. It's yeah, now it's gonna bug me what brand it is. Entree Computers. That's it. Entree. ENTRE Computers. I think the E has an accent on it. I know, I think they had a location in Roanoke growing up. In fact, I almost can see the store in my mind, and they're definitely not there now. Although I think they might have a location in Roanoke, but their current location is definitely not where they used to be, because I remember they had a storefront. Jesse says, never heard of them. They may have been more East Coast. They may have been more of an East Coast or possibly even Southeast chain. I don't know. I don't know how far they expanded before they obviously started shrinking their footprint. But anyways, they I do know they had a location in Roanoke. I never was at it because they were like for businesses. But I do remember them. I'm fairly sure they had. Yeah, I almost remember them having a location on Electric Road in Roanoke. If you're familiar with the area, I doubt most of you are, but technically, I think they might have been in the county. But who's counting? Um, I don't know that Entree Computers has a. All right, the best I can do, because I don't think they have a Wikipedia page, probably because they weren't notable enough. I know they had more than one location. Anyways, they do. Their Roanoke location does have a website, and their logo is still the same. And the only other thing, let me see here. I think I did find, and it's probably saved off of one of my computers. I think I did find a picture. It was in a magazine. I may have to go digging for it at some point. But yeah, there's no Wikipedia page on them. I can't find much information on them. It's kind of like they're one of those computer chains that was maybe just big enough that they had somewhat of a footprint in the Southeast, but not big enough that they really hit anyone's radar to make a Wikipedia page on. Um anyways, that yeah, anyways, there's the kind of the link to anyone's curious of like um I got a message here. Next time I'm going to get the touch compatible versions. Oh, will do. Thank you for the reminder. All right. So, anyways, uh, actually, I don't know where somewhere I have. I saved it. I did manage to find a photo of an Entree Computer Center that was in a newspaper, and that is about the extent that I can find to like corroborate my memory of they did exist. According to their Roanoke location website, they've been in business since '83. So, yeah, I don't know. I tried to find more information on them. Yeah, Thomas says like DTK brand computers. Yeah. Although I think DTK might actually have a Wikipedia article. Also, I think I have at least one DTK case. Hey, Ian, welcome. Ouch. Ian says, I felt 240 volts when I was in the UK when I was fumbling around to find a power outlet and touched the prongs from a broken off phone charger plug. Ouch. Good night, Francois. All right, let's get this metal case off the bench. It's lunchtime. Or rather, it's lunch computer time. Pub says 240 feel worse than 120. Yeah, I bet it would. Here we go. Oh, that's right. One of the screws for this fell under my workbench. Ugh. All right. So here is our portable. So this is, I think, there was some company that must have made these cases. Sadmax says, RIP Lunchbox screw. There's also a screw for my Game Boy Color under my bench, too. So, yeah, probably never going to find that one. The one for this PC, there's a chance because it's a bigger screw. So, I think there was some company that made this case as a generic case, and then companies made computers around it. Because I have, so this is actually my second of these Lunchbox computers. Although the first one isn't a complete computer. So maybe technically this is my first Lunchbox computer because it's complete. And the second one will be, the first one will be my second one once I am able to complete it, which maybe we will do Thursday. Jack says, you'll find out when you make that new workbench. Yes. Sadback says, that has a handle, must be portable, right? Yeah, that'd be funny if it, this said, like, not a carrying handle. Or not portable. But I need a luggable. I have a luggable. I just need to finish it. Maybe we'll do that later in December. So, this is a Roadrunner brand. I think it used to be beige. This is, the model is LCD 286. I think the model name is like nearly the same on a bunch of these, so I think this model might have been applied at the factory that made this. But anyways, yeah, it's a Roadrunner brand. Beep beep, says Sad Mac. This one does have a button for tilting the screen, which it does not work if it's you have to have the case in this, I guess it's upright orientation for the button to actually work. But the spring does actually work, so the screen does come out. The screen does work. Doesn't have the greatest contrast in the world, but it does work. Is that black switch for the backlight? No. This is the invert switch. So this determines whether the display is dark on light or light on dark. So it's the invert switch. And then this is contrast. There is no backlight. So this thing would be very hard to see in the dark. Yeah, I know, it's very interesting, but that is an invert. So it does have a decent-ish keyboard. Not a full-size keyboard, but it does at least have most of the important keys. I believe if I were to open this keyboard up, I would probably find there was an AT-XT switch inside. Because I think there were companies that made 8088 versions of these as well, so they would need the XT encoding. This one, though, at least has the US English keyboard. So I will not have trouble typing on it. My other Lunchbox case has a German keyboard. So at least this one's US. Because when running US DOS with a German keyboard, the keyboard layout you have to respect is the US layout, not what the keycaps say. Yeah, it is kind of a weird keyboard layout, but it's at least better than some of the earlier ones that just really threw arrow keys to the wind. I'll let you fill in your own opinion of which computers did that. I don't want to step on someone's toes that maybe they really liked where some of the arrow keys got put on early computers. Yeah, no problem at all making people hold a shift key for one of the two arrow directions. Sadmax says, this does cause problems, yeah. Because apparently on the different keyboard layouts, the scan code was for, I think, the key position, not the character on the key. Which somehow I think might have been the way to make keyboards easier to make. So, yeah, it's really weird. With the German layout keyboard, yeah, the key that gets registered corresponds to what would be on the US keyboard at the same position. All right, so this one is serial number 00100001613, made in USA. And it is an LCD portable computer. And note that does say portable and not like potable or some other weird word. No, they did not have batteries, not counting the CMOS battery. Which we've removed the CMOS battery that was in this one because it was starting to form crusties. So I threw it away. It was not salvageable. I can make a new one. That's what these two wires are. There's the battery leads. Sadback says, I can understand them laid out similar to VI keybinds, but I have also gone enough rounds with it for that to make sense. Yes, so this is what I believe this is the 286 that it was originally shipped as. I do not know what kind of hard drive's in here because I have not been able to read the hard drive label. I'm probably going to have to pull it out to be able to read it, or at least pull the floppy drive out. And in order to do that, we are going to have to... I'm going to pull the cards because I want to inspect the motherboard to make sure there's no battery corrosion on the motherboard. Because if any of that battery corrosion did get on the motherboard, I want to clean it off. We did power this up when I got it, and it worked. But I would like... Yeah, this was the AA battery holder that was added afterwards. Yes, that's this one. I do want to make sure that there's no corrosion that might cause trouble later. Because it does power up. It does work. We get video. I need to know what kind of hard drive it is so we can configure the hard drive in the BIOS. So I am going to remove these cards. And I'm going to take a note as to which card goes where so I can put them back. Because in some cases, given where some of these connect, it may be difficult to use the computer if I put it in a different spot. For example, I'm pretty sure this second card is the video card because of that. Oh, no, that's probably the hard drive controller. One of these is going to be the video card, and it's going to have a ribbon cable coming off of it, most certainly. But this first card here is a network card. It's an ArcNet PC 130, so I bet this isn't even Ethernet. Alright, so this card may not be that useful nowadays. Because that may actually not be Ethernet. Although it does look like it had a boot ROM capability. But I am kind of doubtful that's Ethernet. And if it was, it's 10 base 2 Ethernet, which I don't have any adapters for. Anyways, so this card may get swapped out with another one at some point in the future so that I could actually network it. But at the moment, I'm going to take everything out, catalog what's in it, make sure nothing has battery corrosion on it. Ultimately, with the goal, I'd like to figure out what kind of hard drive is in it so I can configure it in the BIOS. All right, so this next card is a... Oh, that's neat. It is a Mini Scribe AT disc controller. It's got Western Digital chip on it here. And it looks like some 74 LS series logic and a PAL. And I believe this also has the floppy controller on it. Because... Oh, yeah, that's going to be the floppy controller chip. Hard drive's going to connect direct to the bus. Okay. So I'm just going to double check. This cable here is floppy. So maybe just to help me reconnect. In case I run into similar... I'm going to mark an FDD on that cable. And I'm going to mark an IDE. Because I don't know what kind of ribbon cable the video uses. And I don't want to get cables mixed up. But I do want to at least remove the card so I can... I may have to remove the cables to get in. Anyways, there we go. Whoop, I bent the transistor. Let me bend it back. There we go. It's a Mini Scribe AT controller. All right. All right, I think the next card is probably the video card. Looking at the back, I think it is. Now, this is also going to be interesting because I was not able to connect a TTL monitor adapter. Jack says Mini Scribe. All right. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, we are going to have the grand reveal together. We will see. Does it trident in 3, 2, 1? No, it does not trident. It Yamahas. So this, yeah, this definitely is the video card. And that is a Yamaha V63550. It is kind of hard to read, but I think that is a V6355. Oh, no, I think that's a V6355D video controller. Yeah, I knew they made them, but in fact, I think I've got one somewhere. But anyways, all right. So luckily, I'm also, before I remove these cables, I am double checking that the pin 1 red stripe is pin 1. So I'm going to mark a video or a V. Well, that's like awful writing for video, but that's also like just a 20 pin cable. So should be good. I don't know what this NEC chip is. Oh, wait, that's a... Oh, that's a microcontroller. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a D8748 HD microcontroller. Interesting. I wonder if that's controlling the... I don't know what that's... I wonder if that's maybe... I really don't know what that's doing. Yeah, there's microcode on it. I may have to pull the chip and try to read it. Hopefully it's still readable. Of course, if something's happened to the microcontroller, that could explain why I couldn't get an external monitor to work. Because I'm wondering if that's maybe adapting the video out of the Yamaha chip to either the LCD panel or to the video out, possibly. Yeah, it's microcontrolling something. Either that or maybe it's handling inverting the video. I don't know. I don't know what it could be doing. We might have to try to find, maybe find a datasheet for this video card. Yeah, it's a V6355D. We may have to look to see if the RetroWeb has that card in their database. All right, moving along, because we don't want to get too bogged down on any one particular card. All right, I think this is going to be... Oh, let me zoom out now. Now that we had our Will It Trident segment. Fun fact, my other Lunchbox PC apparently did use a Trident card, and I managed to find it. All right, so this is a serial and parallel card, because there's our 8250 serial controller, and I guess there's probably just 74 series logic for the parallel port, so it's just a standard parallel port. So, other than that is one giant crystal. There's really not much exciting on that card. Other than one of the jumpers is slightly broken, but we'll just leave that alone. And then, I think last but not least for the expansion cards, this one is probably the most obvious what it is, just based on the fact there's a transformer on the top. It is a modem. Ooh, it's a practical peripherals modem. And if I'm reading that part number right, I think it's a 2400 baud modem. This may have cost a small fortune back in the day. Wow, this actually was... It's actually a fairly decently built modem. It's got some weight to it, actually. Jack says, "Wonder what online service it was used with." Yeah, maybe if the hard drive works, we might find out. Although, given the type user of this computer, something tells me it was probably CompuServe or Prodigy, but I could be wrong. I mean, for all I know, it could have been used with Genie. Jack, yeah, Jack said, yeah. Thomas Armstrong says, Yahoo! Yahoo! All right. And now we have a view of part of the motherboard. And I think to get any more of a view, we are going to have to remove the power supply, which I think is held on with 2 screws? Oh, no, I think four screws. I think we got 2 screws here. Yeah, I was trying to think of one of the original online networks that a business professional might use, and that's why CompuServe, Prodigy, and Genie came to mind. Yes, and credit to Jack for correctly capitalizing Genie, leaving no doubt as to which conglomerate ran that service. Needless to say, I doubt this connected to eWorld. Okay, that's a travesty. All right. I'm going to leave you all in suspense for a moment. I'll let, if someone wants to guess what I've seen under the power supply, I'll give you a clue. It's not really as bad as my comment might have led it to be. No, not a mouse nest. Not goo. It's a dang battery holder down there. This contraption that they made with a 4 mismatched battery. Yeah, the power supply is dirty. Yeah, that's probably the actual travesty. Hi, Mega. Welcome. Yeah, that's gross. That might cause other problems, but yeah, apparently because they probably didn't want to bother to figure out what battery fit that. Spoiler alert, I probably have one that will fit that. They made this. They made a battery adapter. Oh, and it's all tangled up in the power supply cables. Yeah, they bypassed a coin cell battery, although it is a rather large coin cell battery, but still. All right. Oh, good. Okay. I'm trying to detangle the power supply here. So, yeah, this power supply does supply some unique voltages for the LCD screen. But here's our homemade, there's the remains of the homemade battery adapter because I just cut the end off. Jesse says CR2430 would be my guess. Probably a really good guess. I'll probably be able to put a coin cell battery in it, so I won't have to use the... Oh, which is good, because they're actually... Okay. I wish I understood battery mechanics. And hopefully this might be the only spot on this that's got corrosion. Hold on. I gotta find the correct pin header. Is that it? There it is. So that is the battery connector. And it would appear as if somehow, despite the fact that pin 3 is not one of the 2 battery pins, but I think it is connected to ground alongside pin 4. Obviously, there is some corrosion on the pin, as if the corrosion traveled through the wire. Or it's otherwise some sort of a galvanic response of dissimilar metals, maybe. Oh, and that might be it. Maybe that's a dissimilar metal, some dissimilar metal response based on a... Maybe it leaked out of the power supply. Yeah, we may have to check the power supply. Could be something going on in it. Yeah, it did move around the wire. Because the battery pack would have plugged into pins 1 and 4, which I think pin 1 is this one closest to my finger, which under magnification is really big. So I think that's pin 1 right there, which makes that going to be pin 4 there. So I think that's pin 3 that's got the corrosion on it. Fortunately, so far, that is the only corrosion I've seen on the board, but we're going to have to remove the drive cage so I can at least inspect the rest of the board. Also, I'm pretty sure some contact cleaner should be able to take care of that. All right, so let me unplug the... All right, so I've unplugged the power supply. We'll set it aside because I'm going to open it up carefully and at least dust it. All right, so that's our hard drive cable and our floppy drive cable. And this is our ribbon cable for the display, as Tim Cook would call it. And then this is the power cable for the LCD. So let me see if I can get the hard drive cage out. I think to get it out, I need to remove 2 screws that are blocked by a trim piece here. But I think the trim piece, if I very carefully... There we go. I think you very carefully push it in the middle on the sides, and I think on the 2 ends on the... Yeah, there we go. So in the middle on the sides, and then on both sides on the top, then this piece comes out. And then there are 2 screws holding the drive cage in here and here. And then I think the drive cage will lift up this way. There is possibly... Oh, there may be 2 more screws. Oh, there's one. I think there's also a screw there. Let me go ahead and get that screw first. Yep. Because I wanted to try to judge if it was part of holding that in or not. And then, bear with me, I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers that has a cordless screwdriver. Or as I was watching when the video came out this morning, Chris Hytha, who's remodeling a row home in Philadelphia, and he released a video today, and we'll just say that today's video was on kitchen cabinets. I don't want to spoil the beginning for anyone that hasn't seen it yet that wants to watch it, but we'll just say the video, he found a funny way to start the video. Because IKEA cabinets aren't maybe necessarily the most exciting thing, but he made it funny. All right, there we go. We have, yes, a mystery cable with electrical tape on it. Always love to find those. And we've got, I will pull my camera out so I can take pictures of these front panel connectors. Although I'm not going to pull the motherboard. I don't see a reason to. Yeah, I really don't see a reason to pull it. It looks reasonably clean, other than this like one corroded pin, which we'll hit with some. Oh, hi, Joseph Norris. Welcome and good night. Yeah, hardware is awesome. Although I'm old enough that this was new in my 20s. Yes. Well, glad you at least stopped by before you went to bed. All right, so let me see here. I was trying to get my bearings of this computer. So this is a motherboard based on the Chips and Technologies. This could be the Neat chipset. I'll have to look it up. Because here's our P82C201. And there's the 202. And there's the 203, the 204, and the 205. There's going to be our ROM chips. Here's our AMD 286 10 megahertz. I think this is going to be the math coprocessor socket because I see nothing else that could be it. Although it doesn't look like it has enough pins, but initial looks can be deceiving. This is our so here's going to be our real-time clock chip. It actually has a Motorola 1468 146818. So that's actually one of the Motorola clock chips. It checks this. 10 megahertz. And here's our 8237. So those are going to be our 8237s. And I don't know what those are right offhand, but I think that might be our keyboard controller there. So it's nice there's a separate keyboard controller. I think, though, given there's the 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, I think this is the neat chipset, but we'll double check. And then this chip here, I believe, is a address decoder. Although this could also be the chipset that predated the neat chipset. So I'm going to try to pull this up on the retro web. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Let me do an advanced search. So chipset is the chips. Actually, let me search for 82C201. Let's see. That's not the single chip AT. I think this is the. Oh, all right. All right. So the chipset scroll list on the RetroWeb is annoying me. It keeps jumping every time the list loads. So I'm searching for boards with any chips and technologies chipset. I'm pretty sure. I think it's the single the neat chipset. And CPU socket this is actually a PLCC 68. As opposed to some 286s are actually in a CLCC for ceramic leaded chip carrier. Whoop, I selected the wrong CPU chipset. I was about to say it found no results. I was about to say, no, I'm pretty sure you're going to find some board, just maybe not our board. All right. So now I'm looking to see if I see any boards with dip memory. I think this might be our board right here. I think I might have just found it. That bears an uncanny resemblance. All right, I'm going to show you here momentarily. I just want to, there's a label over top. Oh, wow. This actually does bear a very striking resemblance to this board. All right. So drum roll, please. I think this is our board right here. So I guess I was incorrect. It does appear as if this is the PC-AT compatible chipset, so it's not the neat chipset. That's the CS8220. Maybe I overlooked the chip. Anyways, this is the same chipset that is on the board Dave gave me. Known issues, bad shorted tantalum capacitors. I guess we'll have to keep that in mind. Max RAM, 1 megabyte. And let's see here. Do we have documentation? So it does look like there are some archived BIOS images from Dash Computer. That's good to know. Yeah, I really do think this is our board. There's a label over this in this area, but this board does have that pass sticker in the corner. There's our battery holder that definitely appears to be bigger than a CR2032. We have a jumper block in the same area. And sure enough, got the Motorola clock chip. And that looks like our same chipset. I guess, luckily there's manuals, so we'll be able to confirm this is a math coprocessor socket. But, I think this is our board. I really like it when we find boards that are documented, because then if I do something silly like accidentally unplug a cable, there's maybe a chance we'll get it back together. Particular attentions have been paid to ensure the Baby 286MB is fully compatible with the IBM PC-AT without sacrificing the overall system performance. How nice. But don't be fooled. I'm pretty sure that 286MB stands for motherboard, not megabytes. Because I'm fairly sure the 286 does not have an addressable memory space of 286 megabytes. I think it's 16 megabytes. Yeah, 24-bit addressing, yes, 16 megabytes. It's an innovative design, wow. Lots of empty sockets, yeah. So there we go. It looks like we have 2 crystal oscillators installed. Only one could be activated at any time. When the 40 megahertz crystal oscillator is selected, the system runs at 10 megahertz or 6 megahertz. While the 48 megahertz crystal is selected, the system is operated at 12 or 8. Do we really have both on this board? We sure do. Xenix 2.0. Oh, did I miss Xenix compatibility? If a word BIOS 2.07 or above is used, the following table shows how the speed can be selected by keyboard. So I think we'll probably have the 40 megahertz selected because this is only a 10 megahertz part. In fact, the chipset is marked 10 megahertz. Or at least I thought it was marked 10 megahertz. Oh, maybe it's not. No, I do not see a 10 megahertz mark on the chipset. So I bet this chipset would work at 12 megahertz if I had a 12 megahertz AMD processor. Ideas. Actually, you know, I have an AMD processor that I've been wanting to test. We might see if the system will post at 12 megahertz. That would be one thing, because I think it's a 16 megahertz processor. All right. Let's see here. I was looking to see if there was anything interesting. That's ISA slots, coprocessor, mathematics coprocessor. No mention of where it goes. All right, jumper settings. So we do have the jumper settings. We can be operated at 10 megahertz 0 wait state, 10 megahertz 1 wait state, 12 megahertz 1 wait state, and 12 megahertz 0 wait state. And there's our jumper settings for that. All right. Pretty sure system RAM speed is a factor there. So Thomas says Harris made a CPU, 286 CPU that did 20 megahertz. Yes. And before I order some of them, I would like to see if the processor I think might be bad is actually bad. There's our memory. Let's say anything about RAM speed. Well, there we go. Coprocessor clock rate depends on the coprocessor clock speed and the CPU clock speed. Users need to select the appropriate jumper. So for coprocessor part, yeah. Anyways, we'll check that. All right, battery. So JP12 pins 1 and 2. Onboard double lithium battery coins, 3 volts each. Oh, I bet that battery terminal is. I bet the onboard batteries for a pair of coin cells. Jean Paré says 12 megahertz 0 wait state should play Wolfenstein 3D pretty well. Hi, Jean Francois. Welcome. Power good connector pin assignment. Ah, there we go. Motherboard map. All right. Is there any? Oh, by default it shipped for an off-board battery. Okay. All right, let's zoom in. So all right, at least we got where all the connectors go. That's good. Sure, I presume that socket's for the math coprocessor. It'd be nice if, like, maybe it said. Ah, soft spot for 286s. All right, well, let's let me let's see here where to start. I think I have some coin cells that might actually fit this. Let's take care of this corrosion here in real quick. And actually, the way I'm going to try to address it, if I can find it, is I'm just going to take some deoxit, and I'm going to put the deoxit on a swab. I'm only doing this so I don't make a huge mess. All right. I'll put a generous amount of deoxit on the swab, and I'm just basically going to swab around the pin. And that actually that actually might have hey Sylvestron, welcome. All right, let's see. Did I get that corrosion? Otherwise I'll put on camera. Actually, yeah, there's still a bit more corrosion on there, so maybe let me let that deoxit sit for a moment, and then I'll grab another swab and do another treatment. But that actually did a pretty decent job just with some deoxit. Let me see if I can get my camera to fine. All right, because I can't get There we go. I will move the computer. Are those feet on the roof of the case? Um. Oh, those are the buttons to. There's like two buttons on the top of the computer that unlatch the keyboard. That's probably what you're seeing. Yeah. While I let that settle for a moment, let me see if I can find my calipers. I think I think that's actually for a pair of batteries. But I think it is a 24. Oh, hi, Mark. Welcome. I think it is probably for a 24 something or rather. Although, quite honestly, that's an MC146818. And quite honestly, it probably would be happy with one battery. It just might not last as long. I have some 2330s. Let me try one of these for size. I think my 2032s are upstairs. So this one is actually all right. And I'm only doing this because I read the manual and it said it was a double coin cell battery, which I'm pretty sure implies that it was a 6-volt cell. But actually, I don't think that's quite the right size. Oh, you can't see what I just did. Because I think that's actually for like a 2420. Oh, single coin cell was not thick enough. So I went ahead and gave it 2 coin cells, which, according to the manual, said double coin cells, so that would be 6 volts. Yeah, it might be a 20. Well, yeah, 2440 would probably fit it. Yeah, the manual said, without saying exactly which battery. Yeah, let me show you what it said. Anyways, there's the battery selector. So I do need to. Yeah, onboard double lithium battery coins, 3 volts each. I need to close JP12, set JP12 to 1 and 2. JP12 is. I'm going to have to look at the diagram. Yeah, it's very weird. All right, I'm going to have to look at the diagram at the back of the manual. I think it was marked. So J12 and J13 are here. So J12 Oh, this is not confusing at all. Yeah, it should be fine. All right. All right. So you can't see what I'm doing. Neither can I, because there's a disconnect. Or so so somewhere in here is a J12 and a J13. And that is not it. P6 is keyboard. And 1, 2, 3. I think those 4 pins there are actually should be J or P8. P8. Oh, I think I see why I can't figure it out. So I'm going to remove this jumper here. Oh, yeah, that's why. Because J13 is those 2 pins. These 2 pins right here, the last 2 pins on that 6-pin contraption. So they're the first 4 pins are P8, where the battery attached. We'll get that corrosion. Yeah, sneaky hide a pin. And then Here's the other one. They're fuzzies on the jumpers. No. No, the jumpers are clean. All right, so that should have connected the battery. Now, let me see if I can't tackle that corrosion on that pin. So, hold please while I move the microscope to where I can see the corrosion again. All right, so the deoxit's been allowed to set there for a little bit. I'm going to use an actual cotton swab this time. Let's see if I try to. Oh, because of that jumper block there, I didn't realize that is actually the negative pin for the battery pack. That's why that one's corroded. Electric toothbrush. I'm trying to not make a huge mess. But I'm probably going to make a mess anyways. All right. Well, actually, that actually does look a bit cleaner. And unfortunately, given the location of that, I'm I mean, it should work for this. I mean, deoxid. Got to break some eggs. I mean, it's kind of working. I mean, maybe I should get some isopropyl alcohol. Or actually, let me do this. This will probably make the mess I'm trying to avoid. But let me put this over top of the pin. And, oh, because because of the increased risk that I'm going to send contact cleaner flying my face, I'm at least going to put my safety glasses on and close my mouth. That last part's a pro tip. Yeah, I'll make a mess. It'll dry. I just don't really like the appearance of contact cleaner can leave on a board. Um, what if I plugged a DuPont connector onto it repeatedly? That would probably require me to get a new DuPont connector so that I don't get the corrosion in the one that I have. I mean that might do work. I mean, I've also kind of almost taken care of the corrosion just right here. All right, let me see if I can find something to Mega's point. Let me see if I can find something to maybe plug onto that with a little bit of deoxide in it. I mean, it's 52.5 degrees Fahrenheit in the basement right now. It's warmed up just a little bit, like a spare jumper. Um, well, if I could find a spare jumper, that might work. I don't know if I have a spare jumper handy. I mean, I've got jumpers somewhere. Oh, wait a minute. Jack's asking if my basement has heater duct runs. Yeah, but they're for the first floor. Yeah, all the heater duct runs down here for the first floor. All right, so I just found this spare jumper. And it's um oh, it's one of the annoying kinds that I don't know if it was sized to heat the basement. That would require me to have an HVAC professional come and do a size calculation. But it would be pointless to put heater vents from it down here without insulation. And I somewhat doubt that it was sized for the basement because it's the same size unit as for the. I've got two identically sized units. One is for downstairs and one is for upstairs. Although, maybe... I mean, maybe... Oh, look at that. You know, I think that jumper might have done something even if it didn't look like it was. Well, that pin's actually looking quite nice. I don't... I mean, there may be a little trace of corrosion on it, but... Alright, I'm going to... I mean, there is maybe just a little bit of corrosion left on that pin, but... Well, I don't know if the corrosion would spread without a battery there, but I don't want to find out. So I'm trying to remove it. I'm thinking that I'm hoping that the contact cleaner did its job and has, well, cleaned the contacts. I know it may not be the... I mean, I suspect I've gotten it. Yeah, an ounce of prevention. Given the amount of corrosion that was on the board, I mean, if it spread, it probably would spread fairly slowly. And I don't know that it'd be able to spread very far because there wasn't much corrosion, so I doubt there would have been any much active corrosive potential. Because at some point you're going to use up the acidity or alkalinity of the battery or whatever was there, and it would probably stop spreading, but I just at least want to clean the corrosion because it could still slowly eat away at the plating on that pin, but it does look like I've managed to clean it off enough that with the deoxit that I applied to the pin, I don't think I'm worried about it now. That looks pretty good. In fact, actually, I'd almost be tempted to almost be tempted to maybe see what I got in terms of spare math coprocessors for 286s. Oh, wait. I need to see what kind of hard drive that is. Let me not forget to do that. Let me do that now while I'm thinking of it. So I removed the drives and then I started working on that corrosion. But I never did... Yeah, I can't see the... Is that an Epson floppy drive? Toshiba. Yeah, I can't see the hard drive. Yeah, it'll spread if you don't clean it. Problem is, it might be underneath the plastic too. Well, that's the reason why I dabbed some. I put some deoxit 100% on it, and while I did wipe what ran off onto the board because I applied a little too much, I'm hoping that and just leaving what I put on the pin, if there is any in between the pin and the plastic, I'm kind of hoping this will seep in and take care of that. So that's also why I'm not setting this upright just yet, because I want to give the best chance of that deoxit to have a chance to, like, soak into the... between the pin and the plastic. In fact, I'll probably put one more drop on that pin after I figure out what kind of hard drive this is, just to give it the best chance of soaking in. Yeah, because it's pretty minor. It's not enough that I really want to. I really want to pull the board because this board is mounted really weird. It almost looks like it's held in with nuts, and I'm kind of afraid that I might find out that there's a screw on the other side, and that this was put together in a way that it would make it impossible to um, put back together. Yeah, Sylvestron says the only 100% way to remove that header's entirely in scrub. Juice, probably not worth the squeeze, though. Yeah, I'm thinking that with the minor amount of corrosion, fortunately, I bought the system in time to catch it before it got bad. I'm thinking that deoxit, scrubbing to get what I could see, and then putting some deoxit to soak in. And in fact, I'll probably store this computer. Probably I will store it in this orientation for a few days. Sylvester says, you cleaned it better than I would have. Yeah. Hey, that's one reason I took this apart. I wanted to give it a good inspection. While I've got it down this far, I am going to clean or at least attempt to clean the 5¼ inch floppy drive heads. Whoever made this drive did not make that an easy prospect. But let's see what kind of hard drive we have. It is a Mac store. I knew that much. What I could not see was far enough on the label to tell which model it was. And it looks like we have... I could have probably guessed if I looked at the list of hard drive models. We have a Mac Store 7120AT. Oh, and it has 3 screws holding the hard drive in and not 4. Alright, so what I am going to do to make it easier for me in the future, because I can tell it's a Mac Store drive. Oh, and there's a little post-it note on top that says Type 9. I wonder if this is Type 9 in this BIOS. Anyways, I am going to very carefully, only because I want it to look neat, not that it really matters much. I am going to take a paint pen, and on the front of the drive, beside the serial number label, I am going to write 7120AT. So that I don't have to remove the hard drive next time I need to see what the model number is. I can just read it off the end of the drive. In fact, actually, I may at some point just print a label that has the model number and the geometry. In fact, that's not a bad idea. I probably will do that. But at least for the moment, before I print the label, I've got the geometry. All right, let's put the hard drive. Actually, I would almost like to... Restaurant says Type 9. Dang, big spender. Actually, I'm almost tempted here. To, Oh, we gotta clean the, Yeah, I was almost tempted to maybe, bench test this hard drive. Also, still trying to think of where I got a 8287. All right, power supply. Let's take a look at this power supply here. I am there we go. Whoops. Let's go put the keyboard back on it. Because I was actually tempted to I was tempted to grab a different board and test that hard drive before we put it back in the chassis. All right, but let's look at this power supply first. I put the keyboard back on because I wanted to set this. Well, I want to set it base down for a little bit. I don't want to set it on the keyboard on the floor, but I got to get it out of the way. All right. So these are the screws that hold the hard drive in the. All right. So standard YouTube caution applies. I'm doing this for educational purposes only, and that we are going to educate ourselves as to how much dirt can be found in a 286 power supply from the late 80s to early 90s. I don't know exactly when these computers were made. Don't attempt this at home unless you have the proper training or know what you're doing, because dangerous voltages can live inside these power supplies. In fact, these power supplies sometimes don't even have user serviceable parts. So I am not responsible for lost, late, or misdirected mail, as well as lost, late, or misdirected electrons from the power supply should you touch something you shouldn't have. So yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, stay out and leave the zappy inspections to a zappy professional. Oh, not to me. Oh yeah. Thank you, SEDMAC. Not meant to be educational. Yes, this is not educational in the sense of this is a how-to tutorial. This is educational in the level of dirt in a power supply from the late 80s, early 90s. The two education experiences are different. And I'm sure I didn't make a lick of sense there. But anyways. Yeah. One means you get to see the grossness. Yeah, it's for entertainment. Thank you. It's for Yeah, that was the word I was. Yes, I was looking for the word entertainment, not educational. Thank you. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am entertaining you with the amount of dirt that is in this power supply. Sometimes on Mondays, words are still hard, even Monday evening. Also, the other thing is sometimes these power supplies just were not designed to take apart, so sometimes there's just no clear path to disassembling them. All right, so luckily the fan. There we go. All right, so there we go. That is a gross amount of dust. Yes. Thomas Armstrong says nicotine dust storage. Yes. Um. Yeah, that is quite the gross dust collection there. Let's at least do that. All right, that fan has seen better days. Thomas Armstrong or Sylvestron says reminds me of the Japanese import PSX I opened a while back. The remote for that console is still in its double Ziploc quarantine nearly 4 years later. Yeah, it does look like a well-made power supply. Oh yeah, because I think these are Panasonic caps here, and okay, I don't recognize some of these brands, but these high volt caps I think are Panasonic because I see or National because I see the little triangle logo. I think if I'm looking at that logo right, I think that is National. Yeah, this thing is like gross. I really do need to. But yeah, it does look like a well-made power supply. I'm looking to see if there was a label where it was made. Yeah, I'm going to need to. I'm going to need to dust this out very carefully. Yeah, there's some of the dust quality dust bunnies that are in that, and that fan probably will need its bearings lubricated at least. Yeah, I'm at 10:55. I have an idea here that maybe what we'll do, because I really should probably take this outside and dust it, but uh, there is probably ice on the ground right outside my door down here because it's pretty sure below freezing outside now, and it did snow, but it got warm enough to slightly melt, so I don't think I can really take this outside and dust it right now. So I'm thinking what we'll do is I will set this to the side and try to do it probably not tomorrow. Say try to do it Wednesday, and then because Thursday I was thinking of continuing looking at the Lunchbox PCs, but I guess the one thing we could do is put this one back together Thursday and then take a look at the other one. So, because this I really need to dust out without contributing to the illness of my workbench. So let's do this. Let's take the Lunchbox PC. I'm just trying to do this so I don't set it on any of the screws. Although I've got the keyboard on now, so I'm not as worried about the screen. All right, but I would like to at least set it flat. All right. So what we'll do here, I'm not going to use the LCD screen. Because that requires voltages that are coming from that power supply. So I'll grab another video card. But I was thinking we will take just a standard power supply so we can power up the motherboard, because the motherboard doesn't require any special voltages. Head Thomas says from Lunchbox to Pizza Box. Thomas says, keeps raining like crazy here. Yeah, it was, because it was snowing this morning, we were work from home today. And apparently we're work from home tomorrow. Or at least, well, I guess it was, if you can work from home, please do so. And tomorrow, I guess they've got the same request. I suspect, though, at some point tomorrow, I'll probably go in the office. After, if things start melting like I think they will at some point. Do I have a 287? Well, the answer is yes. I do have a 287. I have many 287s. The real question is, do I have a spare 287? And that is the trickier question to simply ask. All right. So I'm using this is my ATX bench power supply. It's the new Thermaltake one to replace the Apivia power supply that decided to kick the bucket. On stream, naturally. All right. So to test this board, I am going to, because the keyboard is attached, I'm going to need to use a substitute keyboard. So I will use this AST keyboard. All right, there's that. I did want to plug the so I will plug the original controller card back in. So that I can plug the hard drive in. I'm still thinking of if I've got a spare 287. I'm pretty sure I do. So I am going to plug the hard drive in. I should have a Molex power connector right here. And it might actually be long enough to reach. got the hard drive setting on its side here in a spot where it's not going to touch anything metal. All right. So hard drive's connected. We've got a CMOS battery. So we got power for the motherboard, hard drive. We got the controller card, video card. I need a video card. Video card, video card. I see. Oh, please, well, I'll see if I can spot the box of ISA video cards. Oh, there it is. All right. I'm going to go over to my shelf here and see if I can find a 287 in my processor box. And if not, I will swipe one from another system. And I will also grab an ISA video card at random. All right. I grabbed 3 video cards. gonna go swipe 287. Yeah, I'm about to swipe one. All right. No, they're not 3 Trident cards. All right, I will probably order a more appropriate math coprocessor for this computer. But since you all insist, I will put that a 287XL was in a computer that won't post at the moment. And I don't think it's the math coprocessor keeping it from posting. There we go. The 287XL is the 3. Hit the wrong button there. The 287XL is the 387 for 286 motherboards, basically. All right. I do want to check the jumper settings here. All right, so I do J7. I want J7 to be open, and J6 to be 1 and 2. All right. J7. All right, it's currently closed, which means it's configured for maybe I should double check the processor speed jumper before I change this. It should be 10 megahertz. All right. So it's J2 and J8. Oh, no, J5 and J11 should be 1 and 2. J11 and J9. No. J5 and J11. I need to go back to the page that tells me where those are. So J5 is... All right, J5's by the corner oscillator. J11 is at the end of the coprocessor socket. So J5 is currently set to... I think it's set to 1 and 2. And J11 is going to be set to 2 and 3. Hold, please. I'm double checking the settings. Hold. All right. I need light. Oh. Well, that's convenient. I don't know if jumper position 1 is marked on that one. Actually, I don't think any of these have a mark for... There's J11. That's a weird spot for it. Oh, because that's J... Oh. All right. All right. Hold on. I'm still trying to double check the processor clock jumpers so I know what to set the coprocessor to. All right. So J5 and J11, I believe, should be set to 1 and 2. J11 is set to 2 and 3. And... Oh, I think this thing's running at 12 megahertz. All right, we'll confirm by running a program. All right, the other two I want to check are J2 and J8. J2 is open. I think this is configured for 12 megahertz one wait state. Okay. So, if that's really true, the 8287XL is rated for operation at up to 12.5 megahertz. So, I can jumper this at J7 should be open. J6 is set for 2 and 3. J7 is actually closed. So that means someone had an 8 megahertz coprocessor installed at some point. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so if I'm reading this right, I can open J7 and set J6 to 1 and 2. And if the processor is actually running at 12 megahertz, that means my coprocessor will run at 12. And if it's set for 10 and I've misread something, because some of the jumpers for the processor speed don't have legible marks as to what pins 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 are, then I'll be running the coprocessor at 10 megahertz. Both speeds are within its capabilities. So I'll go ahead and set it to run at the fastest speed. Well, if I can get the jumper out, that is. All right. All right, so J6 is now set to 1 and 2. J7 is now open. So there we go. That should allow the math coprocessor, which I purloined from a 286 that won't post right now, it should allow it to run at full speed. Now, to complement such an excellent system, I grabbed 3 video cards. We'll try. We'll try them. So this is a Realtek video card, which RetroTech Chris graciously donated to the channel. It is a real high performer. Actually, I think RetroTech Chris gave me this card too. It's an Acumos AVGA2. You watch Adrian's Digital Basement, he tried to get one of these working on a 386 in 0 weight state. This one's got said jumper. Anyways, I think I'll set it to the side, because I'm pretty sure you all will want me to try this card first. It's a Trident TVGA 9000A, so nothing special. Yeah, the one with the buggy 0 weight state feature. Yeah, I did drop a comment on that video after watching him struggle to get that to work. To try to offer my some experience I've had in the past. Basically, after watching him struggle with that, I couldn't help to think that maybe that card would have never worked on that motherboard, even when it was brand new. Because it's there wasn't a because the thing is, there wasn't an ISA bus standard. It was the Wild Wild West of clone boards, and it's possible that that Acumos card had just a just weak enough pull down, and that motherboard had a just strong enough pull up on the signal that maybe that card would have never worked in that motherboard, even when it was when they were both brand new. I know a lot of people were in the comments saying that, oh yeah, the card's probably dying or something like that, and my theory is it could just be that it would never work. Not then, and definitely not now, because the card's not any newer, but it's possible that that card would have just never worked on that motherboard to begin with. All right, so let's power the system up. So, I guess smoke test in 3, 2, 1, and we have. I don't know. I don't think we had anything. I turned the smart outlet off. All right, did all right. So my ATX power supply should have definitely been on, and yeah. All right. So I guess let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. All right. Nothing. All right. Let's check the obvious. All right. So the adapter is plugged in. I've got the black wires in the middle. Hard drive's plugged in. Uh, thermal tank power supply is switched on. Um, do we have a short on the motherboard? That's a good question. Did I somehow, or all right, all right. Always check your multimeter probes. Okay, no short. That's 32 ohms. That's not a direct short. That's probably fine. Uh, that's 30 ohms. 30 ohms. 30 ohms. So nothing's directly shorted. I guess maybe the most obvious thing to do would be to remove the math coprocessor. Oh, wouldn't that be funny if that's the reason why? Well, I guess if my math coprocessor is bad, I might have just explained why the other computer won't post. Although I'm fairly sure I tried posting that other computer without it. All right, there we go. Math coprocessor is removed. All right. I I don't think if this motherboard was not compatible with the 8287 XL, I don't think that would cause it to not power up. All right. Because I have a 286 that doesn't like the 287, but you get a post error. All right. I got the power connector plugged in. All right. All right, 3, 2, 1. No, nothing. Oh, wait a minute. That would be embarrassing. All right. Maybe I have the wrong power plug. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. I had the wrong power plug. How embarrassing. Let's see here. Do I have the right VGA input? Yeah, I should. That is VGA 1. All right. Well, that okay, that video card is not. Oh, wait. This might be the um oh, this is probably a jumper setting. I am looking for the switch 1.6. I'm looking for switch 1.6 for monochrome adapter is off. And nope, switch 1.6 is on. All right, so it should be in the correct mode for this. Okay, so I guess this Trident card is doing what Tridents do best. All right, I'll try another slot. This is why I grabbed 3 video cards. Yep. All right, no video. Okay, so Trident card is a no-go. Let's try the Acumos card. I think I've recently used the Acumos card, so it should hopefully still work. All right, let's see here. There we go. My scalar. I don't see any video. Um, okay, that's weird. try. So, huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm leaving it on video capture, and there's no video on the Acumos card. Interesting. Although the scaler saw a signal. We have a dirty slot. The hard drive's spinning up. All right. Well, actually, the Acumos card, let me go back to the Trident card because it's got a check mark on it, so I'm fairly sure I've tested it at some point. All right. So I put contact cleaner in. Contact cleaner. Yep, dirty contacts in the slot. All right. Control Alt Escape for setup. This is just like the one Dave gave me. All right, so let's turn on numlock. So it is 12. We are still on the 8. And the time is going to be 23:34. Don't really care about the seconds. Diskette 1, 2 is none. I don't have a diskette connected. All right, disk 1. All right, let's see what we've got for type 9. Is what there was a little tag on the hard drive. It said type 9, which is 900 cylinders, 15 heads, 17 sectors. That might be right. It at least passes the sanity check. All right, let me look it up. The Mac Store 7120 AT, and the RetroWeb has the drive in their database. And according to the RetroWeb, that is a 1024 12 1024 14 17. So type 9 on this motherboard is not correct. All right. Let's see if we have any of these that have 1024 cylinders. Oh, that is not quite it. Oh, there's a different list of. Oh, this BIOS has different predefined types. There's 817. We're getting closer. 11, 10, 12, 13, 14. There we go. 1024, 14, 17. That is correct. Video, I think, yeah, EGA, base extended. Yep. Will it boot? Disk boot failure. Wah, wah, wah. Alright, I guess let's get the GoTech. The GoTech is about to enter the chat. Yes, ever since I marked it as the bench GoTech and put an AirTag in it, it has become increasingly easier and easier for me to find it. Alright, so I'm going to plug in a ribbon cable of appropriate substitutedness. Alright, and we'll plug the ribbon cable in. And luckily, this power supply has a Berg power connector on. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I have to say, I was thinking maybe it did have a Berg power connector, but maybe I'm thinking of one Gut Bomb had that had a Berg power connector on it still. All right, not an insurmountable challenge. I think there's such an adapter on my bench here. It's just a matter of finding it. There it is. There we go. GoTech is connected. And I got a DOS 622 startup disk in the virtual drive. And let's oh, hold on. It would help if I ran setup now, wouldn't it? Oh, let's see. Control delete. That's why. There we go. Yes, it helps to tell the computer you have a floppy drive. Then it will actually attempt to use the floppy drive. All right. If we get it, we can get a hard drive working on it. Although, since it's 20 till, I don't think I have much time to. Oh, if this hard drive doesn't work, we'll look at the other types that are available in the BIOS. I have another drive that is functional, and I wanted to put it in another 286, but the drive is too big. This motherboard may actually have a combination for it. Yeah, 1 megabyte. It is a mega system. Might try Type 9. No, it couldn't be that easy, could it? It couldn't be that easy. All right, let's try Type 9 first. Maybe someone really did configure it for Type 9. It's booting from the floppy drive. But we'll see if there's a hard drive. Let me skip the startup files, and then we'll see if there's nope, no partitions defined. All right. That's probably why it won't boot. Someone erase the hard drive. All right, so this was, I forget what type number we actually managed to match on, but it was 1024 1417. I do want to look here. Or do any of these have 34 sectors? No. Okay. And there is no user type. So 1024 1417. 36. Yep. I was just seeing if anyone else was paying attention because I obviously wasn't. All right. So we will. So I'll skip startup files because I'm going to run fdisk again to see if there's a partition with. I suspect there's no partition because I'm fairly sure if there was a partition, fdisk would have shown it even if the geometry was wrong. It would have shown there was a. I think it would have shown a partition was present, but we'll double check it. Because if there's not a partition, then I'll have to create one here. All right, so partition information, no partitions. So let's go ahead and create, or try to create a partition. All right. Now don't get used to a Trident card in this one because I'll have to put the Yamaha card back in to use the LCD panel. All right, I'm gonna let it boot into setup. Joe, hi Joe. If I remember your name, YouTube is showing me handles only still. I'm sure YouTube's probably trying to sell that as a feature, not a bug. Is asking, is there color screen in the lunchbox, or is it an orange gas plasma display? It is not. It's not either. It is a black and white LCD. One of the ones that has a bluish tint to it. It looks blue when it's off. One of that style. Oh, interesting. I thought I'd partitioned it. Possibly like a Sharp PC 7000 clone. I've never seen one of those. Well, that's interesting. And entirely predictable. All right, so no partitions defined. Something tells me this hard drive is not functioning. Oh, believe me, it is spun up. The drive is spinning, and it's not making weird noises. but that was attempt number 2 to write a partition table to it. Invalid drive specification. Well, is it, let's, am I hearing the head seek? Yes, I am. I am hearing the head seek. I am not. I mean, I suppose it could be the controller card. Um, yeah, we are. It is not. I don't think it's not writing the drive. Oh, wait a minute. There are. Okay, there are some jumper settings. I don't think they would cause it not to write, but let's check something here first. All right. All right. I heard the. I did hear that. I powered it down. I heard the heads do what they normally do when you power the drive down. So, I mean, by what I'm hearing, the drive sounds like it should be a healthy drive. All right, so let's check the jumpers on this drive. Um, so okay, there's two. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. So there's two PCBA. One's marked 48 jumpers and the other's marked 38 jumpers. And I think that's saying specs and PCBA is less than or equal 38. So there is a label on the bottom of this drive that says PCBA 30. So I'm going to presume the matching specs is this one here. It's the best I can do given the information I have. All right. So there is a jumper block. Jumper block J1. Um, I'm having trouble reading the jumper designation, so let's go to the microscope view. better. All right, so I think that end one's going to be J20, 19, 18, 17, and 16, I'm presuming. Oh, yeah, that's going to be J16 there. All right. So J16 is idle mode latch setting. Open is disabled. That's the default setting. All right. Drive model number 7120 is jumper installed. That is correct. All right. The next jumper is ECC. 4 bytes is jumpered. That is correct. And then the last jumpers are for the which drive it is, and it's only drive in single drive system. Okay, that is correct. I thought I would check because the other PCB revision. Oh, there's another jumper block somewhere. All right. J11, 13, 14, and 15. Oh, there it is, right there. So, all right, this is jumper 7120. Oh, that's interesting. 7, 13, 14, and 15. So IO channel ready is disabled. Oh, open. So, yep. It's configured for 1024, 14, 17. And then normal operation. Okay. All right. I was just checking to make sure that it wasn't in like some factory test mode or something. Or I didn't think a drive this old would have it, but just make sure there wasn't like a unexpected write protect. But I have a feeling the drive. Oh, actually, this power supply does have a Berg power connector on it. I just didn't manage to find it. All right, so I think this drive is probably no longer functional. Bummer. Although I guess I could double check. I got a controller card here. Oh, that one's got a ROM on it. Oh, it's almost midnight. All right. All right, we'll try this in one last shot. So I'm gonna plug the. I'm gonna try this other controller card here real quick. IDE controller cards are just very simple. I don't know what failure there could be that would cause it to be able to read the drive but not write to it. But I also have to figure that, well, maybe a bad controller card might be able to do it. So we'll try this one. We'll try this controller card here. I think I picked it up recently. Sylvester says it's only 4 p.m. tomorrow. Here, you're fine. Well, in that case, I'm pretty sure I'd be late to work. All right. Oh, did I? Oh, maybe didn't push the. Oh, something tells me there's something wrong with this supposedly new unboxed controller card. Of course, there's no controller card installed now, so that's. All right. There's no controller card installed. Sorry, computer. I'm looking over the jumper settings for this controller card. There's a ton. Yeah, this controller card might be Miss Jumper. Okay. Okay, so that controller card. All right, I think that's where we're going to call the stream. Jack says, that's a lot of all caps. Yeah, I know, the BIOS is screaming at me. All right, so we took the Lunchbox PC apart. We cleaned some corrosion. We've determined the original hard drive appears to be non-functional. The power supply needs dusted when I can take it outside to dust it, because I'm not going to do that on my bench. It's that dirty. It needs to go outside. It looks like probably going to have to find a yes, I'll probably have to find a network card we can put a ROM in so we can run XTIDE Universal BIOS. Yeah, Thomas says IDE compact flash adapter. Yes, I know, but not with this BIOS's limited drive type selections. I need something to bridge the gap. And that's not going to happen tonight because it is now midnight. So Thursday, we'll continue looking at this Lunchbox computer because it is on my bench. So subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Don't forget to smash that like button because my dinosaur feeds on likes. Alexander says, dang it. Hi, Doc. Yeah. You just, yeah, Doc, you always way too late these days. Yeah, you missed me try to F-disk a drive 3 times to realize that it's not a me problem, it's a drive problem. I have a feeling Track Zero's trashed on the drive, or actually actually I think these hard drives usually have a read and a write head, so it's quite possible the write head is open on this drive. So there's no recovering from that. That could explain how it's not seeing a partition table. If it could maybe read it and someone had formatted it. Doc says, I prefer to watch live, but I really dig the VODs. Well, I'm glad you do. So anyways, I guess between now and Thursday, I'm going to dust the original power supply outside so that my lungs don't complain. I do know where my duster is. It's right here. So that is not the problem. I just don't want all that dust in my basement. It's I'm not going to repeat that, Jack, just so that I don't accidentally have a verbal slip. I already had a Wi-Fi network slip that I will have to edit out at some point for reasons that I will not explain further at this juncture. So let's see here. Yeah, subscribe, turn on notifications, because Thursday we're going to continue looking at this. So I will dust the power supply. I will find a compact flash card, and I will find a network card that we can run XTIDE Universal BIOS in. Yep, I got plenty of compact flash cards. I've got some smallish ones. I've got some largish ones. So we'll find one this computer likes. Oh, could I quickly tell you about this duster? So this is a Ryobi inflator tool. I'm pretty sure they sell it as an inflator. But the thing is, there is nothing on this product that says that you can't simply point the air at a dusty item and make the dust go away. So yeah, it's the Ryobi. I'm looking for a part number. In the famous words of Lieutenant Commander Data, it's green. Oh, of course, the part number is underneath the battery. It is the P738 inflator. And it just takes the Ryobi 1 plus battery packs. Now, the thing is, I think usually the inflator is sold as just the tool. So, pro tip, catch the batteries on sale at Home Depot. I've got a couple of the 3 amp hour batteries, and you get a pretty good, decent amount of time with the inflator. You probably could inflate an air mattress on one charge. I think it's got a tip that you can, might be able to inflate some, oh yeah, that's what this is. So, I think with this nozzle, it's designed to inflate like an air mattress or something, but it's got a smaller nozzle so you can inflate things like beach balls. But it also works great with this nozzle just dusting computers, because it's just blowing air out. It also has another feature that if you can deflate an air mattress quickly by putting that on the inflate port on the air mattress. But anyways, yeah. I paid, I think, $30 for it because I bought it at a Ryobi Tools outlet store. I don't know how I think they're normally like $50. But I like that because I also have the Ryobi glue gun. So if I need to like glue down some wires in a computer project, there's my glue gun. And it takes the same battery. And as you can probably figure, I also have the cordless drill, the I think I have the circular saw and hedge trimmers. No, the hedge trimmers are from Ego Power Tool. Never mind that one. But yeah, I got like the cordless drill, cordless circular saw, cordless tire inflator in my car. But yeah, this is my duster. It's the Ryobi inflator. So I think Home Depot carries Ryobi tools. So, I think it works well as a duster here in Virginia. Your mileage may vary. But, I've been tempted to buy one of those. Yeah, Sylvester says Ryobi gang. Yep, that's me. Ryobi's palm router, though, is horrible. So, yeah, I got rid of that. It was absolutely horrible. I'd rather have a full-size router than their palm router. Yeah, their palm router has a lot of slop in it. But I have a bunch of the other Ryobi tools. I've been tempted to get one of those dusters that they sell on Amazon for like $80 that have a smaller nozzle for faster air, but the thing is, this takes the Ryobi battery packs, and I've got a couple of batteries, so if I need a lot of dusting, I just make sure I have 2 batteries down here. I keep the charger in my garage, but Sylvester says, me too, I have heaps of their One Plus tools. But anyways, yeah. So that's what it is. SJ says, the shop blower P755 looks like a mini leaf blower. I even wedged an old back crevice tool into its air hose thing to further concentrate the air. Yeah, and it has a Ryobi inflator and the shop blower. Yep. So, anyways, yeah, I'm glad I could tell you about that. Anyways, I think with that, it's time for me to close the stream down because it's getting late. I got to work tomorrow, although I'm starting the morning work from home, but still, I have to join a meeting on time still. So, I guess at least I don't have to leave the house to make said meeting, but I do have to still join said meeting on time. So, with that, yeah, we'll continue looking at this Thursday. So, yeah, that'll give me the time to dust the power supply and find a network card in the box that's got a ROM socket on it so that we can XTIDE this lunchbox and use a compact flash card because the hard drive appears to be dead. And actually, ooh, that might be an idea. It just dawned on me. We might I just had an idea. Hot pending Thursday. For that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me, hanging out, being cool in the chat. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.